Hello everyone, and welcome to my guide for Eden's Promise Umbra Savage, also known as E9S, against the Cloud of Darkness. Now before you start the encounter, like many other Savage encounters, you will need to establish clock positions as well as corner partners. You will also need to establish how your group is handling tiles, as well as who is getting what tower for your Thorns and Towers portion of the fight. And before we run in, you can pop up some raid-wide mitigation pre-pull, as the first thing, as in many other cases, will be raid-wide damage. But keep in mind that you will want to save some of that mitigation, as raid-wide damage occurs rather often throughout this fight. So again, we're going to run in there. Count down. Pull. Now positioning was a little off here. She got a little pre-pulled, but that's okay. And ground raising particle beam for the raid wide. Now next thing she does here is Art of Darkness. This is going to be either clock positions or partners based on how she is glowing. Now the one that she's currently telegraphing is the clock positions, so you can see that she is glowing herself, so we know we need to get into our clock positions. And then immediately after that resolves, she's going to do the partners. Now of particular note here, if you are tanking her, you want to make sure that you keep her face north until she actually starts casting. You don't want to change her movement in the middle of that, because remember that your melee damage dealers are probably going to still want to get their positionals in on her before they get to their partners. So I wait till she starts casting, then I move to my partner. And these mini AoEs that go out are around each damage dealer, so you really want to make sure that a tank or healer is paired with each damage dealer. Devouring Dark here is the tank buster, and like many other tank busters, that's going to put up a debuff on the main aggro target, and then it is going to put a line AoE on that same main aggro target. The debuff itself hits like a wet noodle. I've seen damage dealers survive it just fine, but then that line AoE will kill you if you don't have proper mitigation, and if you do have the debuff. You can invuln it, which is what you're going to see me do here, and particularly if you're a paladin, keep in mind that you can hollowed ground the first and fourth Devouring Dark if you put up your hollowed ground before she starts her cast for this one. You're going to see I did not put up my hollowed ground quite that quickly, and so my hollowed ground still has 3 seconds left of its cooldown when the fourth one hits. Just make sure that if you're a paladin, you put it up plenty ahead of time. I do it just before she starts her cast, and it will be up again for the fourth one if you wish to invuln that as well. Now after that is going to be a phase change. These phase changes do hit pretty hard, so you want to make sure you have plenty of mitigation for them. I put up a Divine Veil. I could have popped it myself, but it did not quite get popped by my healers. That's okay, we'll have it up for the next raid wide. This next thing, Flood of Obscurity here, does do a knockback, so you want to hit your knockback prevention. And then the way we're handling thorns here is the same way Mr. Happy does in his guide video. That's what we've put each of our markers up here for, is our bramble positions. So make sure you hit that knockback prevention and then go to your marker if you're handling it in this way. And this just makes sure that we don't have to travel too far outward toward those markers, so that we can keep melee uptime, and they're still in perfect positions to make sure the appropriate people get marked by each bramble. Now you're going to want tanks and healers on the same side here, and then DPS on the opposite side from that, because each tank or healer is going to get attached to a DPS for their vines, and then they'll also be attached to whatever the closest bramble is to you as well. What most party finder groups will do is put tanks or healers either north or west, and DPS either south or east. In this case we're going east and west because the line here is bisecting the room north and south. So keep an eye on that line. That's indicating which trees are going to blow up on either side, and those trees do a massive AoE around them. So we've moved east and west. And like many other vines before, you have to move far away to snap them, and then the trees blow up. Now the next thing here is going to be either wide angle phaser or anti-air phaser. This one is wide angle, and the way wide angle works is first she's going to move to the side of the room that she telegraphs with these two lines here, and as soon as she moves to that side, she is going to do a massive cleave toward the arena. So you want to make sure you move in that direction and then to either side of her in order to avoid that cleave. Now she's going to cleave both the healers and the tanks. So what's going to happen here is the tanks move around her hitbox to get away from the rest of the group. And then you can also see that our damage dealers are stacked with our healers in that direction. And then our two tanks have moved around her hitbox to make sure that they're facing their cleave away from the group. Now that cleave on the tanks is a tank buster, so you want to make sure you have appropriate mitigation. You can see I accidentally stepped into this bramble shortly before my cleave hit me, so that actually got me killed. The bramble does do a magic vulnerability up here, so just be careful of that. You don't want to step in that if you're the tank, or anyone else for that matter. And I just barely stepped in and it got me killed. The next thing she's going to do is her ground raising raid wide AoE again. And then she's going to do another Art of Darkness. Now this one is going to cleave half the room, and then it's going to do either the stack or spread. So you can see she only has one orb glowing this time, and that is indicating which half of the room is going to get cleaved. So this whole half of the arena is going to get cleaved, and so we want to move to her right. Now she's going to telegraph what she's doing after that half room cleave before she actually does it. So we know that because she has both orbs lighting up here, that we're going to need to stack with our partners immediately after the half room cleave. So we go to partners, and it's resolved. And because she did wide angle last time, we know she's going to do anti-air this time. And now the way anti-air works is our tanks are going to move out. You want to stand about at the halfway mark of the arena. So that's indicated by this line here. You want to be standing on that line as the tank. And then your damage dealers are going to be stacked with your healers on either side. You want to establish light parties before you do the pull, so that we know which damage dealers are going with what healer and what side each tank is going to as well. You can typically resolve that based on where people are going for their corner partners. That should give you light parties just by default there, but in case anyone's confused, just make sure they know what side they're going to. The healers are going to move out here because at the same time that she does a massive AoE on either tank, she's also going to do a mini AoE around each healer, and then she's also going to do a point blank AoE around herself as well. So everyone has to spread out appropriately to resolve that. So this AoE around the tank is a tank buster, so make sure you mitigate appropriately. We all spread out properly and get in for that cleave. Next thing that's going to happen is the line AoE tank buster. So make sure you either aggro swap or invuln it. Our Dark Knight is doing his Living Dead. And then I provoke back. Now the reason I provoke back there is because I want to stay toward the north end as much as possible, because you need to use your clock positions quite often throughout the fight. And so I want to keep her facing north, so I keep aggro on her. Now she's doing a phase transition. Remember that these hit pretty hard themselves. And then we have tiles. Now, the way I'm going to show you, the method I'm going to show you here is known as either tanks move or slide. And the way it works is you're going to need to establish a plus pattern for your raid with the tanks at the inner north and south cardinal, your ranged DPS at the outer north and south cardinal, your melee DPS at the inner east and west cardinal, and your healers at the outer east and west. That'll come into play in a little bit here, but with that in mind, that inner cardinal tile is a reset tile for each pair. So for example, this inner north tile is what I'm going to be using to reset, as well as my DPS partner is going to be using to reset. And because our movement is from that one to the clockwise tile of it, most of the time I'm sitting on my northeast tile clockwise of my reset tile. And that would just be mirrored around the rest of the room. Now the first thing that's going to happen here is your ranged are going to move out to handle a cloud that spawns on that outer platform. Now these clouds are handled the same as they are in Wool of Darkness against that cloud of darkness. You need to make sure that you're facing them and in the cloud's path to slow its movement. Meanwhile, everyone in the raid has a debuff with a timer on it, and when that timer resolves, everyone in the raid is going to do a frontal cone. So we want to make sure that when that hits 0, everyone's faced outward away from the boss. Treat it like a gaze mechanic. So you can see the clouds spawning here, right there, and right there. And again, you want to stay in its path and facing toward it to slow its rate of movement. And when that debuff hits about 5 seconds, your melee are going to want to refresh on their refresh tile. And then when it hits 0, we're faced outward. And then she's going to do a donut. So by this time, your cloud would be moving in toward her anyway, even at slower movement. So you want to just make sure that you're getting toward the inside tile as you're finishing off that cloud, and inward for that donut AoE. After that, our ranged are going to move out to their outer tile, and we form our plus formation. And she's going to cleave half the room. Now, this can be handled in many different ways. The reason I'm showing you the tank's move or slide method is because it provides the simplest form of movement for this. And the way this works is we form our plus formation here, and then as soon as it's telegraphed which side of the room is being cleaved with this glowing orb here, the tanks are going to move into the safe corners, into the corner tiles on the safe side. So I'm moving into that northwest tile as soon as Love Galore moves here, and then the other tank is going to move into the southwest tile, and that will leave 2 tiles free at the inner north and inner south. And so the remaining DPS and healer on the danger side can move into that north and south tile. It doesn't matter which one they pick, just pick one and move there. Because the DPS is already south for their inner cardinal, they're probably going to choose that south tile, and then the healer is going to move toward the north one here. Again, this is known as either tank's move or slide. There's also a snake method where the entire party will move clockwise or counterclockwise based on which side is getting hit. And that allows everyone to refresh their tiles along with moving into position, but it does require a bit more movement. I prefer this, and many party finders tend to use this method simply based on simplicity. Now, special note here, because half the room is getting cleaved, that does include half of each of these tiles. So it's going to split straight down half that room. So this side is dangerous here, and so you want to make sure that you're on the safe side of those tiles. Now, your ranged are the ones who moved out to their tiles first. That also means that their tile is closest to falling at the end of this mechanic here. You can see that our healer's tile here is being telegraphed for falling. So you want to let your ranged reset before you get back into position whenever possible. So we're going to do a quick reset here, and then I'm going to move back to my spot. I don't think I've covered this yet. You do want to make sure that you never have two people standing on the same tile, and that you're never standing on one tile for too long. You want to refresh roughly in between every mechanic. You can stand on one tile up to 20 seconds before it falls from you being on it too long. So we refresh and then get in position, and then she's doing another Art of Darkness. As you can see, she's telegraphing clock positions. So we all stay on our cardinal or inner cardinal tiles. And then there's going to be another phase transition. So refresh real quick and get ready for the phase transition. Again, this hits pretty hard, mitigate appropriately. And then she's going to spawn clones. Now these clones operate exactly like Mirror 3 for Shiva Savage. Just treat the clones as if they're all the blue mirror from Shiva Savage, if you remember that. And if you're not familiar with that, the way it works is she is telegraphing which half of the arena she is going to cleave, and then the clones are going to cleave that same half of the arena on their side. So from this we can tell that the south and west corner of the arena is going to get cleaved, and we can also tell that the north half of the arena is going to get cleaved. And because of that, we already know that this southeast pizza slice here is our safe zone. Now, it's not always going to work out that nicely. Sometimes you may need to look at all three clones, but keep in mind there is one more clone here we do need to worry about. So we're going to move into that southeast portion here, and you can see because that clone is cleaving her right as well, that the entire west half of the arena is getting cleaved. but we've already moved into our safe zone, and we're safe. Now, it's pretty hard to pick up on 3 clones and all of their safe zones in the few seconds that go off before that AoE. I highly recommend that you mark someone who's confident about this with the Danger Dorito and have the group follow them. Also, if you are in comms, having people call out clones as they see them, and even boiling it down to one corner of the room with having someone else distinguish between which side of that corner to go to. Just ample communication helps here, so use your comms, people. Next, she's going to do a tank buster. Now we have to share this one, so make sure that you voke appropriately and mitigate appropriately. Then I'm going to provoke here and make sure that she's facing north, because she's about to do another Art of Darkness. Now with this Art of Darkness, she's going to cleave one side of the room and then do either clocks or partners, and then cleave the other side of the room. So in this case, we moved to her left first, and then she telegraphed clock positions, so we're going to do clocks, and then to her right. So left, clocks, right. And next is going to be a phase transition. This is another obscure woods. Remember that the phase transitions do need to be mitigated. And just like with the last obscure woods, the first thing we're going to need to do is make sure we use our knockback prevention, and then get on our markers to drop those brambles. Now she's not going to telegraph any exploding trees this time, but regardless, we're going to have all our tanks and healers move north and all our DPS move south. You could just as easily put tanks south and DPS north, or tanks west and DPS east, or whatever you want, as long as everyone's on the same page. But at the same time that we're breaking these vines, there's also going to be towers up, that 8 towers that each raid member needs to stand in. So again, we made sure that before we started the fight, we knew who was going to what tower. And we're all in our towers, and that resolves perfectly. And then she's going to do another either wide angle or anti-air here. So again, we're getting to her sides. And cleaves. And then point blank. She's going to do another raid wide here, so make sure you mitigate that appropriately. And then she's going to explode some trees. Now, at the same time that she's doing this rejuvenating balm, she's doing these massive AoEs from each tree. She's also doing an Art of Darkness. Now you can see that she's telegraphed that she's hitting her right side here. And that Art of Darkness resolves at the same time that the trees resolve. So you need to make sure that you not only move outward so that you're not getting hit by the tree, but also to the appropriate side so you're not getting hit by the Art of Darkness. Now, we're not going to do our movement appropriately here. What most groups will do at this point is go to their boss relative clock positions, because she's doing an Art of Darkness that also includes either clocks or partners, in this case clocks, and that resolves immediately after the trees explode. So if we were doing our movement efficiently, I would have gone to the boss's front since my clock position is north. And likewise, if your clock position is anywhere near the south, usually you should be at the boss's back here. Same with your corner partners. So because my corner is northeast, depending on where she's facing, I want to be at her front or right. Now we didn't do that appropriately. We're going to get smacked both by the AoE there and the clock positions there, but our healer does the LB3 to get us back up. And then we're going to have another tank buster. Now, as I was describing before, my hollow ground isn't up in quite enough time for that tank buster, but had I popped it a little earlier for the first one, it would have been up just fine. And I have cleared since this attempt, and I have been able to hollow ground both of those, so it's definitely doable. Now you're going to see me scramble to get to my appropriate tile here. Another note on that while we're discussing tile movement, if you do get raised in the middle of tiles, your damage immunity also provides you tile immunity. So you do not activate tiles until your res immunity goes away. Just so you know. So again, ranged move outward, melee reset their tiles, everyone looks out. Donut. Ranged move out, we form the plus formation. And then tanks move. And then DPS and healer fill in. And then we reset. She's going to do another Art of Darkness. It's clocks. So we all get to our clock positions. And now this is where it differs from the first tile phase. Here she's going to do one more half room cleave and one more either clocks or partners. So tanks move, and then DPS or healer would fill in, but they're dead. And then we would refresh and get back to our spots. And then she's doing partners. Now, that happened to be opposite of the one previous to it there. I don't know if that's always the case. I haven't seen this enough to really make that judgment, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was always the case. And you're going to see me scramble to head toward the south to find a partner because my partner is not alive. And then she's going to do Enrage. One more Deluge of Darkness, which would normally be the phase transition, but it happens to be Enrage here. And that's the whole fight, guys. I am sorry that I had to do this from stream. I did forget to do a recording for my first clear, but I will try to have these a little cleaner in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to share them in the comments below. If you like videos of this style, I will have more of them coming soon, and you can always catch me on my Twitch, which will be linked in the description. I do stream Savage and extreme content and PUG rating fairly often. And good luck on your Savage clears. I have included a full version of the video with callouts for your viewing pleasure. Thank you and goodbye. Everyone's ready and coming. Red Mage privilege. Oh, yeah. I don't have that same privilege. I'm sorry, Gecko. Hello. Raid wide. Sorry about Doton, but I blame the Dark Knight.
No problem.
Alright. Clocks. Multiple communities, best welcoming and friendly community. Partner. I love to hear stuff like that, man. I really do. Next is hologram. ESO and Arcade. Oh, I can't even imagine. Next is phase transition. And Terra too, damn. Yeah, the WoW community, which is the one I was playing with for the longest besides Final Fantasy XIV, was not great. Knockback dimension. Markers. Alright, east and west. Move. Alright, wide angle. What? What? Okay. Okay. Right. And then partners. Anti-air. I'll get to those comments in a moment, guys. But, you know, I'm glad you're enjoying each other's company. Rebar. Get your tiles. I appreciate it, Ashley. Melee reset. Look out. Donut. Ranged out. Plus formation. Alright, tanks move. Adjust. Alright, reset. Get your lock. Lock position. Reset.
Alright, hold on. Okay, there we go.
Phase transition. Alright, we're watching clones. Pressure's on. Okay, it's either 2 or B.
2. It's 2. It's 2. This time for sure. It's 2.
Here we go. Next is Tank Buster. Okay. Evoking. Okay, left. Then clocks. Then right. Clocks. Right. Next is phase change. Next is knockback prevention. Now. Get your markers. North and south. Move.
Move.
Get your meters. Good job. Wide angle.
Shut that out.
Here comes the hot pot.
That's right, yeah.
Raid wide.
Oh, after this.
I'm gonna face her north.
Relative, guys.
I'm the only one else.
Alright, north and south, right?
Okay.
Left.
Oh no. Then clock spots. Clock spots.
Oh, sorry.
No, I got it. Oh, there we go. Got it.
Nice.
Got the vote. Facing her north. I do not have hollow ground yet. I was literally 3 seconds away from hollow ground.
Dang, really?
Maybe,
That's crazy time.
maybe I need to pop hollow ground earlier on the first one.
Files, guys.
Yeah.
To Enrage. 2 cleaves here.
Alright. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna
Same
take,
situation. Go to your spots while you can. Yeah. There we go. Perfect.
Okay. Melee reset. Look out.
Oh my god. Jeez. Thank you for the reminder.
Alright, donut.
Kill that.
Oh, mine's not dead.
It's
Fine.
Alright, ranged out.
I'm dead.
Plus. Alright, Tink's get in position. And fill in. Reset.
Oh no.
Alright, clock positions.
So I should go in here, mitigate,
Reset.
and then go out again.
Oh, okay.
Reset.
Yeah, like that. That's how I should be moving for both.
And then it's gonna be Enrage, I believe.
Oh wow, really? 14%?
Oh no, cleaves first, cleaves.
I'm gonna refresh.
Love,
Okay,
love
go
move.
ahead.
I mean, yeah. So that's the movement you want to do, but
didn't have to because how many people are dead.
Oh, I thought that was
Enrage.
Stack.
Oh, that's another one. Okay, I need a...
Partners.
Wait,
Do
can
I
I-
have a partner?
hold
Ooh,
on, wait.
got it. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man,
I shouldn't have took that rest.
that was sick.
Yeah, that is Enrage, I think. Yeah,
Okay, the deluge is the
Oh,
Enrage.
this? The deluge?
I think
The
so. Yeah,
tiles,
this should be the last
the
three.
second tile is the enrage.
Hello ground data. Hello ground. Oh,
No, that's Enrage.